Hi, this is Mark at learnhowtogarden.com, and in today's episode of the 10-Minute Gardener we're talking about how to prepare a perennial bed for your vegetables. If you're not already subscribed to us at Learn How to Garden, there is a link below this video that'll take you to our website, and if you subscribe it just means you get a notice every single time we put up one of our films. Perennial beds. Perennials are plants that come back year after year. We have them in our gardens, but not a lot of us grow perennial vegetables. And my mum and I were talking, and as you're probably aware if you've followed any of our series, she really doesn't want to spend a lot of time in her garden working these days. She's at an age where she wants to enjoy it, she wants to enjoy the fruits of her labours for the minimum input, really like a lot of us. And we were talking about, rhubarb is what started this off. And of course rhubarb is a perennial vegetable. It comes back year after year, but it's not the only one. There's a whole list of vegetables that if you take the time and effort to prepare a space specifically for them to grow, they will come back year after year. So it's going to take a bit more time to prep it now, but once they're in, they really do look after themselves to a certain extent. This is a very small bed in my mum's garden. It's the third of her deep beds. And what we've decided to put in this bed is three very specific perennials. We're going to put asparagus in, that will give her her own fresh, tender asparagus. We're going to put this plant in. This is sea kale. This is something we really don't see in the shops at all. And that will come very early in the year. In fact, we'll use a forcer, very like rhubarb, to get really, really tender stems. And the third is going to be these plants. These are artichokes. These Violetta de Chioggia. This is a beautiful artichoke that's very purple. And all of these plants, the asparagus, the artichoke and the sea kale, require really good drainage, much better drainage than my mum naturally has in her garden. So what we're going to do with this deep bed, it's 6 inches deep, whereas her standard ones are 4 inches to give us a bit more depth. When we've dug out a trench in a classic double digging manner, instead of filling it with compost, what we're going to do is incorporate a large amount of horticultural grit. We're going to put about 10 to 15% of this soil will be horticultural grit to give us amazingly good drainage. The next ingredient in this bed is going to be some spent grow bags. These are Koya grow bags. Very, very little goodness left in here, but quite good at retaining moisture, and again will give us a nice open friable texture to our deep bed. And last but not least, the magic ingredient really is piles and piles of homemade compost. And once all these are put together in this bed, you're going to have an amazingly free draining but really nutritious bed. So what we do is you prep it similar to how you would for double digging, but then you use your fork to go across to break up the bottom of this trench. This is all about drainage. None of these three plants want to sit in water. You've only got to look at them. They're all very, very silvery. That tells you they like a lot of heat and really good drainage. So I've broken up the bottom of this. We're going to very generously get some horticultural grit into the bottom. We're then going to take our next spit of earth, turn it over and really work it through together. And we're going to do this all the way along the bed. Now if you notice at this point the soil isn't getting a lot deeper in the bed. That's fine. At the moment we're just working on the very bottom layer to improve the drainage. So we'll do that all the way along this bed. And once we've incorporated all of that grit, that gravel, into the base of here. And don't go and buy, you know, horticultural grit in small bags. Sand will do the same job from builders merchants, or you can buy grit from a lot of builders merchants. 12mm grit is fine, 12mm granite grit is brilliant. We're going to take a couple of these old grow bags and literally break them up on the top. We're then going to put our compost on top of this, and it's a matter of working this in to create a friable topsoil. Don't worry about the odd bit of root, that's not going to hurt anything. These had tomatoes in this year in the greenhouse, and notice it starts to sort of get deeper very, very quickly. But we're not going to actually plant in this straight away. It's not like the deep bed we did earlier in the year. We're going to leave it a couple of weeks to settle, purely because the plants are going to be in here for a long time. I mean, when I say leave the roots in, I mean, if you get big clumps like this, they're better just going onto your compost heap. We then put compost on top of this, and like I say, just keep working it through with your fork till you get a sort of slight mounded effect. I'll work this through, it'll take me sort of 5 minutes, and I'll show you how it should look near the end. And as you can see from this end of the bed now, lots of grit, really friable. We're going to leave it for 7 days to settle, then we'll be coming back and I'll be showing you how to plant some of those perennial vegetables. So that's very quickly shows you how, if you've got something specific you want to plant, a deep bed is a great way to get very specific conditions. And I think this idea of growing perennial vegetables, it saves you time, it saves you money, because once you've bought the plants they're going to come back year after year. It allows you access to things that are nearly impossible to buy in the shops some of the time, and it also means that once you've done the work, it's done. So I think, you know, great idea, Betty, thank you very much. I noticed that I'm the one doing the work while you're sitting inside having your gin o'clock, but there you go. That's what that's what comes of becoming a loving son, he says, smirking to himself. When she sees this, I'll probably get a slap. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, that's Mark at the learnhowtogarden.com saying bye for now.